Out of all the players to go one-on-one against Mo Salah, probably the best one out.
For over 25 years, HPG Homes have been helping South Australians build and own their dream home. Whether it's a house and land package, custom build or development, our HPG fixed price guarantee ensures no nasty surprises or price changes along the way. We're committed to quality, affordability, and creating a way of life for you and your family. Fixed price, turnkey. It's gotta be HPG. HPG Homes.
Come on! Wait up!
Is everyone ready to play?
I think the people involved, you get to meet a lot of people in football, and that's just one of the great things. Not only is the sport great, but the people involved. So fellow referees, players, coaches, even fans. I love officiating because it keeps me involved in football. I was a player, but I don't reckon I could cut it out there anymore, at least at any decent level. But as a referee, I get to be involved in high levels of football. Keeps me involved, keeps me fit, and is great fun. I think I have a moment of this is why I do this every week. It's always good fun to get out there, and there are tough moments, but being resilient and succeeding, even just in the little things throughout a match. I think embracing challenges is such an important skill to learn, and as a referee you surely come across a lot of them, and I certainly have. I reckon give it a go. You will face challenges, but that's a part of it, and I think embracing challenges is such an important skill to learn.
At Service FM, we know every workplace is different. Every challenge is unique. That's why we personalise our services to our customers' different needs across different industries. From medical to mining and manufacturing, hospitality to healthcare, commercial to defence. So when you need to create a better work environment, you need Service FM. Proud partner with Football South Australia.
Adelaide wakes up with 5AA, David Penberthy and Will Goodings, Tom Wren for sport, Jade Robran on the scene as it happens, Jess Adamson with the news that matters to Adelaide, Breakfast with David and Will, bringing together the names you trust with everything you need to know to start your day. Always live, always local, and only on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Hello, good evening and welcome to LJ Hookham Island Sports Park for the start of round 17 of the men's RAA NPL South Australia. Adelaide Comets versus Croydon FC is the fixture to get us started for this round 17. As we have a look at the live table, of course, it's the first match of the round being played. Adelaide Comets still sitting 11th place and points adrift of Campbelltown City in 10th, looking to try and climb back that gap. Croydon FC just trying to keep themselves in finals with a close following. Adelaide United in 7th place, trying to get over Playford City, currently sitting above them. I'm your commentator, Seb O'Neill, for this one, joined alongside Simon Jimenez for another exciting 90 minutes of football.
Yeah, really looking forward to this one. Plenty to play for both of these sides. In terms of Croydon, they're wanting to cement their place at the top end of things. And for Croydon, I mean, we saw the ladder before. They seem to be in a bit of a fortunate position with so many teams sort of within reach at the bottom of the ladder at the moment, but they have to do their part and start picking up 3 points.
These two sides, Adelaide Comets coming off a loss here at home to Adelaide City last week. Croydon with a big win at home to Adelaide United. Comets' last win coming here at home against West Adelaide in round 14, a 3-2 win where they were 3-0 up, but a late surge from West Adelaide just had them a little bit worried, but not enough in which they couldn't keep 3 points. Croydon FC, you could probably speak more of that win against Adelaide United. Seems emphatic when you look at the score sheet.
Yeah, but it was there was big portions of the first half where Adelaide United were actually dominating things. You know, despite that, went into the halftime break with Croydon having that sole goal, and the fact that they got that second very early on in the second half, it really, I think, deflated Adelaide United. But overall, I think Croydon can really take away the fact that they really disrupted that momentum that Adelaide United had built up until that point that they did score in the second half. So then, of course, they scored that third one as well a little bit later in the piece, and they seem to be finding their form at the right time.
Both sides ready to come out from the tunnel here. Ahead of a big one for these two sides, looking at their fortunes ahead of the final remaining rounds of the season. Of course, Cup final weekend next weekend, but after that, 5 more rounds of the regular season until we find out who wins the league, who makes finals, who goes down. It's very exciting in prospect, Simon.
We said it before, and we'll say it again now, and we'll say it again next year, but it's just amazing. It seems like yesterday when the season just started, and now we're really getting to the pointy end of it. And I guess league-wide, there's just so much to play for. At the top end, things are getting very close. I was just having a conversation with someone up at the club rooms before. I think it's really going to be that 3-horse race on the edge of the 6. There's a lot of competition for one of those teams just outside of it to edge their way in. And for Comets, again, they're a real chance to get out of that relegation place. But again, they're going to start getting some wins on the board, and then anything might be possible.
Both sides now walking out onto the field of play. Both sides in their home shirt as well. Good to see. Croydon in their white and red, and Comets in their blue and black. Unlike Portugal versus Croatia this morning at the World Cup. Both wearing their away shirts.
Well, they're a little bit fortunate, Croydon, in that they don't clash with too many sides. I was at West Adelaide a couple of weeks ago when they had to don the green. And I don't mind the green kit. It's something a little bit different. Not everyone's a fan, but of course tonight in their traditional white and red.
And as both sides line up with the mascots as well, being urged away by the sides, will go through the starting lineup. Starting with Adelaide Comets in goal for his second appearance is Dakota Oxenham. In between the sticks, of course, no clean sheet last week against his former side. Will be looking to get his first for almost 2 years in South Australian football. The back line being Athan Karkafiris. We expect Damian Luic, Cameron Hayes and Anthony Mavrolambardos. No Min Sun Park out with suspension after accumulating 5 yellow cards is the reason that we imagine. Midfield of Economopoulos, Vatnos and Good, and the forward line of Gildas Gomwakezwa Marco Guerrera and Aladdin Irabona also returning to the side. Again, another forward line that's very exciting to possibly look forward to if they can connect as we think they could.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting, but I think also on the other side of that, you got the two keepers, and I'm just trying to think in my head, are they two of the more experienced keepers in terms of level that they played for in this competition? Off the top of my head, I think certainly Margush.
Especially, you'd almost say decorated in terms of the amount of minutes they've played at a professional level as well.
Yeah, so Margush, obviously, I think most of his A-League career with Western Sydney Wanderers and Oxenham coming back, it was a huge get. I did hear he was sort of floating around the place at the start of the season, but just with how highly he was favoured by A-League clubs, some clubs were sort of thinking, are we going to keep him? Do we factor him in with our plans? But, to come into Comets at this late stage, it's a really great get for them. They've got him, going back to what you mentioned before, the forwards as well. Marco Guerrera, who's come over from Para Hills. I guess destined to be a bit of a season-long fight for him, but I think it's fair to say that, this is the most lukewarm take I'll give you all night. Comets are in a much more favourable position out of the two teams in the relegation side. So, if his skills can be utilised, and he'll be looking to make as much impact as he can.
Croydon's lineup, of course, Daniel Margush in goal, the back line, James Polly, Bol Mapor, Freddie Muller and Luke Klimek. A midfield of Adam Martinello, Ned Styles, Kato in the 10, the forward line as well of Oscar Slattery, Passia John and Luca Trim-Bowley. Again, another forward line very much to be excited about. The forward lines and the goalkeepers, the two big things coming out of this one tonight, Simon.
Yeah, I think so. And just going back to Croydon's lineup, completely unchanged from last week. And overall, particularly in the second half, I think they'll be pretty happy with the performance that they put forth. Slattery's been in really good form. I've been impressed with Ned Styles as well. Muller seems to be fitting in really nicely at the back with Bol Mapor, who's, is often one of the standout players for Croydon.
Our refereeing staff for tonight, Tom Brinkworth in the middle, a very experienced referee himself at a young age, has refereed in the Australia Cup Round of 32 as well as the Australian Championship and the A-Leagues, and assistant referees Dion Turner and Luca Costello, as we look to get underway for the first match of Round 17 here at LJ Hookham Island Sports Park. It's Adelaide Comets versus Croydon FC. Comets already starting by playing out from the back and then looking for the long ball forward towards their talisman in Aladdin Irabona. Irabona tries to put it through for Golma Keswell, but Bol Mapor's there first. Slattery. Hayes getting the final touch, and then now put on forward through by Ned Styles. And again, over the top looking for Trim-Bowley, but that will roll back for a first touch for Dakota Oxenham.
A little bit of a nervous moment defensively for Croydon there, with James Polly having a little bit of an unfortunate slip. We saw a couple of those during the opening fixture of tonight, the WNPL match between Comets and FSA. So I hope that he's made the boot choice right tonight, Polly.
Intercepted. Going down, and a foul given by referee Tom Brinkworth. You said Croydon coming off a win last week. Adelaide Comets without a win in 2. Croydon have only lost one of their last 5 matches, and that was against top of the table West Torrens Burkalla.
And among those, there was that really hard-fought match where they found themselves 3 goals down after about 14 minutes, and somehow that match ended up in a 5-all draw at West Adelaide. In terms of, I don't know, what can you say about a match with that, except that relief was the big thing for the bench from Croydon after. But I think that sort of performance, even if you do share points and you do go down at the start, I think it does maybe galvanise the team to see him put forth such a big effort.
Passia John battling hard to keep it in play, but ends up going out on his own touch. Yeah, I wouldn't complain if we have a 5-all draw again, Simon. I don't know about you, but it doesn't seem like a bad match.
I can tell you, doing lead on that match, that's if I get one of those a year, I'll be a very content man. If we get 2 within a matter of weeks, there's no words to describe it. I think,
wow,
the Croydon bench I spoke to, yeah, wow. The Croydon bench, I don't think they want too many of those. I think your heart can only take so many.
Yeah, in the case of Adelaide Comets as well, it really is. They do have that gap to Campbelltown, but they are really wanting 3 points out of every single match. A point, even say they get 2 points out of the next 2 matches, it just doesn't seem like it'll be enough. 3 points has to be the goal for every single match going forward for the rest of this season, you think?
Absolutely. I alluded to it at the start of the broadcast, the fact that they've got the 3 sides just outside the top of the 6, all on equal points, all on 18 points. It gives them a lot of teams as potentials to overtake, which is a good thing. But, they can't be watching other teams at this stage. They just got to get wins every single week. They got to put together a really solid run for the back end and give themselves the best chance. And if they fall short, so be it. But, their job's very, very clear at the moment.
Oxenham rolling that one out to his defender. And Laporte, again, doing very well. Styles trying to use some touches to get through. He's still battling for it. And now approaching is Yuya Kato. Some real small-sided battles already early on, just tight in terms of the proximity to the ball as to how many players are around it at any given moment.
I was just thinking that exact same thing. Already a little bit of intensity about this clash, and LJ Hooker Mile Sports Park, we're right on top of the action, so maybe we're just fortunate that we're seeing all this early. But I know you're hoping for another 10-goal fest. But if we see a pretty competitive match like we have for the opening couple of minutes, I'd be pretty content with that too.
And, again, it probably is the same for Croydon in saying that 3 points is a must out of every game at this point of the season, especially, I don't think I'm speaking too soon in saying they're probably not going to win the league title, but of course they do have a championship to defend in the finals, and to defend that, they need to be in the finals.
Yeah, absolutely, and no one expected them to win the league last year either, or even the grand final for that matter, and look what they did. They came and they upset the league winners in Metro Stars. If they manage to do that come the end of September, they'll be very happy with their outing, and they'll get to, claim that back-to-back title. So I know one thing that doesn't concern Croydon is what other people think.
Yep.
They're very comfortable in being the underdogs. And,
we were told that many, many times after that grand final win.
Exactly. And but they have to earn the spot. I think they went a bit of a way to securing that top 6 position with the win against Adelaide United last week.
Pause that for the moment as here comes Aladdin Irabona putting in the ball. It's firing all the way across to Marco Guerrera. Back with Karkafiris. Puts in a good cross. Evades all heads.
Just to revisit that thought, that win against Adelaide United was really big because that seemed to be that spot to cement that top 6 position. Only for now, but even still, the loser was going to go down into that little mix of those teams sitting from 7th to 10th, all on tied on 18 points. So a big win for them, but really it's just a platform for them to build on here. So, going back to the original point, 3 points critical for them as well in securing their passage through to finals time.
One back here by Yuya Kato. Now with Oscar Slattery on the left. Puts in the ball on his left. Right across the goal mouth. Once again evading all members in the box. Ball comes in again but is headed away. And Comets perhaps look to counter here. Gonwa Keswa up against Bolma Paw. has the pace to beat him and still goes to Zgomwekeswa. Ended up in a sliding challenge, which was successful, but that's a late one in there. And will be a foul.
Well, just as Comets avoided conceding that one, I think they were maybe a little bit lucky to not have Passy John floating in a slightly more advantageous position. All of a sudden, Comets found themselves on the break, and that was well won by Ned Stiles, who I mentioned at the top of this. I've been pretty impressed with him in the recent weeks that I've been fortunate enough to see Croydon play, but he's copped a pretty tough challenge in the aftermath.
Right in front of us here, you can already see Oscar Slattery getting some early instructions. Of course, playing against a club of his junior club. He also made his first ever NPL debut for against South Adelaide back in June of 2024. He's never scored against them, though. As Oscar Slattery.
It was interesting watching him play last week because Croydon were forced to make a little bit of adjustment in the first half, and they switched Slattery with Passy John on opposite wings. Just a little bit of a different look with all the pressure that Adelaide United were piling on at the back end of the first half. They just needed to sort of disrupt the momentum a little bit. Slattery's, of course, a little bit more of a all-out attacking winger, with Passy John sits slightly deeper in. But they switched back to their original sides with Slattery on the left in the second half, and I thought he did quite well. So it was interesting to see how he took those instructions and adjusted in the second half too.
Zgomwekeswa had a runner in out on his left, but it's fallen back out and trying to look through for Aladni Rabona. 4 goals and 7 assists for Aladni Rabona in 13 matches. Really taken a heavy weight on his shoulders this season. Slattery puts it across low. Will be a corner.
The cross was well measured by Comets to put it out to safety, and of course Luca Trimboli was the usual suspect lurking into the 6-yard box, and he would have been all too happy to claim that one and get Croydon on the board early.
Martinello on the corner with the short option of Ned Stiles. Over 200 senior matches on this corner. Headed away. Falls back out to Klimek. You thought he may have hit it first time there, but opted to just take a touch and go back instead.
I think maybe slightly indecisive because he did look like he was going to hit it again, but maybe even got a bit of a slip.
Mapor! Flag goes up. Celebrations short-lived and cut abruptly. Just saw Mapor also as he was getting back, taking a slip to the turf again, which we spoke about in this first match of the doubleheader, that we saw a few of the women's players taking a few slips on the grass. Is cold at the moment, is about 12 degrees. Been light smattering of rain in that first match. Haven't seen any more yet in this one.
Yeah, just light, and we're hoping there's not going to be any more, just for our own comfort's sake. But just what you're talking about with the slightly slippery deck, just going back to Lucas Klimek lining that up on the edge of the 18-yard box. I wonder if that was a little bit of a slip and he just had to adjust to try to find his footing again. But because it looked a little bit awkward with his approach just on that final step or two.
So far, that goal of Dakota Oxenham has been the most busy.
It's like we lost a ball over the second fence. It's so close yet so far away.
Comets trying to build an attack of their own. Ball does manage to make its way in eventually until it's cleared by Martinello. That ball was out. A quick update around the grounds of some scores. Of course, Adelaide Comets women's side having a 5-0 win earlier on against Football SA. West Adelaide against Adelaide University. West Adelaide coming up 3-0 winners in the Epic Steel W Hill. Will pause that for the moment again as there's a attack just trying to put in a cross. Yeah, West Adelaide in the WNPL 3-0 winners over Adelaide Uni in the HPG Homes State League 1. Eastern United and Modbury Jets locked at 0-0 at half-time. And in the 60th minute between Adelaide Limerick and Salisbury United, they're also 0-0 in State League 1 there. A very, very tight league that one is. And Campbelltown City in the Apex Steel WNPL as well, currently playing against Flinders United. Campbelltown 4-0 up within 25 minutes against Flinders United. This the first match of round 17 in the men's RAA NPL South Australia. Chat to a local who backs you in your team. It's better to be a member with RAA.
Sure is.
Muller. Now with Styles having to act quickly with the oncoming pressure of Gonwa Keswa. Flicked header on. Over Lambardos. Another one who's had plenty of appearances for his club, over 150 for Adelaide Comets since debuting back in 2016. There's a foul given the way of Croydon FC. Him and Minson Park, previous to tonight, were the only two that have played and started every single match for Adelaide Comets season. Of course, Minson Park now missing out with suspended means. Maverick Lambardos, the only one who has played and started in all of Adelaide Comets' previous 16, now 17 matches. Margush going towards James Polly. Now down the wing for Slattery, but Vatenos doesn't make the right kind of challenge. Comes in low. That's a nice finish from Luca Trimboli. A pinpoint cross. And the finish to match puts Croydon up 1-0 away from home.
It's that run that we've been seeing so much from Oscar Slattery over the last few weeks. Just when he gets up to speed, it seems like there's no stopping him. Drove it right to the end, released that cross off his left foot, and as I said earlier, as usual, Luke and Trimboli all too happy to convert.
5 goals in 5 matches now for Luca Trimboli. The second assist of the season for Oscar Slattery from a cross, a stat in which he's second in the league for in terms of average crosses per match. So it was a likely route to goal and it came to fruition. But 15 minutes in, Croydon with a 1-0 lead as we restart play.
A precarious situation now for Comets because they're going to have to chase down Croydon, and I think if they do end up leaving you some spaces as they try to open up their attacking options, I think it's going to be something that Croydon will really look to exploit.
Oxenham's goal kick in which he takes short. No clean sheet for him tonight. Last clean sheet he did get was when he was with Adelaide City. It was a 2-0 win against Adelaide Olympic in round 22 of the 2024 season. The former Melbourne City goalkeeper. Here he is on the ball now. Hayes. Curling ball, which Iribon is able to flick on. Claims of a foul, but nothing given by our referee Tom Brinkworth. Polly's throw Bonner's flicked on header. Able to go back with the defence and all the way to Oxenham. This is a 30th league meeting in the South Australian First Division between these two sides. 11 wins for Comets, 12 wins for Croydon and 6 draws apiece. So fairly even on the grand scheme of things between these two. Most recent of which, validating that fact, back in round six, a 2-2 draw between Croydon and Comets at Regency Park. Passia John and Oliver Trimble, their 2 goal scorers for Croydon. Navra Lambardos and Gonwa Keswa, the 2 for Adelaide Comets. Last time Luca Trimboli did score against Adelaide Comets was in that fixture just before that one, round 14 of the 2025 season, as here he is on the ball again, Trimboli. Wide of the post. Eight goals for him now. Puts him equal top for Croydon's Golden Boot alongside Yuya Kato. Equal on goal contributions, 2 assists apiece there as well. As that's a clearance from Aladdin Irabona. All the way back towards Freddie Muller. Joined from Adelaide City, where he played just the 3 senior matches for Adelaide City. Junior of International Soccer Club down in Mount Gambier on the Limestone Coast. Freddie Muller, still a young defender, 19 years of age. 2 goals and assist already for him, playing at the back for Croydon. John over the top, but he's offside.
You mentioned Freddie Muller. I've seen him play in a couple of different roles for this side. Last week he was the centre-back pairing alongside Bolmapore, and the week before that he was actually playing as a left-back and combining with Slattery. I thought he did pretty well in that role as well in that particular game. I mean, they scored 5 goals, didn't they, against West Adelaide?
Ready, be aware.
That one will be let to bounce out.
Drop with me, slats.
See Marco Guerrero get forward here. It's a nice through ball. Cut back and just past Aladdin Irabona. It was decent work from the Comets forward line. I'll look for the long throw here. Maybe not as long as I would have hoped for. That's a first time hit, but misguided. Leutsch. Long ball over the top. Guerrero unable to win the header. Will roll out for his throw though. Headed back in from Vatanos. And for Lambardos. Now good on the edge of the box. Takes a deflection out for a corner. As we tick past the quarter way through of the 90. Thankfully no hydration break. Let's continue on.
Did notice the word a quarter. I was going to say that
it's
a word which shall not be named.
It's become too often used over this past month for my liking, but seems to be the way at the moment. As this cross comes in, the corner from Irabona. It's high. Back in by Guerrero. Of course, only his second match for Adelaide Comets after making his debut last week, joining from Para Hills, where he had the 3 goal in 14 previous appearances. He lets it on here. as it goes out for a corner. Previously to Para Hills, he was with Port Adelaide in the State League 2 North. But now is at Adelaide Comets for this second half, this crucial second half of the season for Adelaide Comets. Get another corner here, though, trying to equalise. Irabona again on the dead ball. It's a corner into the centre. That might have just been sneaking in at the far post. Good. Going the distance, but wide of the mark.
You're mentioning Marco Guerrero there. I can give you a little bit of an interesting stat in terms of his experience against Croydon. It was Para Hills and Croydon with a season opener at the start of this year on round one, Friday night. And I can tell you he scored that night. I do know Para Hills hit the front first that particular night.
Scored twice?
There was a pen. First there was a pen. It may have been him that scored on that one.
He definitely scored once.
He definitely scored in opening round against Croydon away in that week. So, but I guess the complexion of the league looks a little bit different now compared to what the outlook was round one, especially when it comes to his side, Para Hills. When they did hit the lead against Croydon, I thought, okay, you know, they're showing something here, but, you know, those little moments have been few and far between, to be perfectly honest.
It's another wide ball that'll be cut out by Balmaport. Marco Guerrero's opposition on that instance. Up by Passia John. And again, just falling on the ball there, Seb Good. That's a long ball to be chased down by Trimboli, but Oxenham collecting first. Ninth match here at LJ Hookham Island Sports Park this season for Adelaide Comets. 3 wins against Cert Lions, Para Hills and West Adelaide, but the 5 losses against Burkalla, Campbelltown, Adelaide United, Playford and Adelaide City most recently. Yet to draw here in season 2026 Adelaide Comets.
You mentioned the draw, but I think that'll be the furthest thing from their mind tonight as well, because at this point of the season, they're trying to get out of that relegation zone, so it really has to be 3 points they have to gun for and nothing shy of that.
Guerrero out far wide. Mapor misses the clearance. Falls to the edge of the box. Yuya Queso. Now, Passia John unleashes into the forward line towards Luca Trimboli, but his touch lacking. Irabona looks up to go against James Polly. Goes on his left. Irabona cutting it in for the centre. One more touch and then the finish. Saved by Margush.
He was called into action more times than he would have cared to have been last week, Tanya Margush. And, you know, it'd be an interesting stat. I'm not sure how you'd pull this, but how many times he's saved Croydon with his acrobatic saves. That one, not the most acrobatic example, but nonetheless being called into action again.
On by Gommakeswa. Only towards Croydon defender and Freddie Moller. Now Klimek scored against Adelaide Comets in that round 14 fixture last year in which they won 3-1. Guerrero cuts in on his left, puts the ball in. Away by Muller, but still to contend with just on the edge of the area.
don't want to harp on the fact, but I'm just noticing little slips and slides all over the place. I don't want to point it out every time it happens, but you do see just that's when players are losing their footing, and it's a little bit concerning because you do get the feeling that there may be a crucial moment here that is decided by a player not staying on their feet.
Out for a throw on the far side. Hussier John nearly making his way past 3 players in blue and black. Onside if he managed to get to it. Over the top, might be caught here, and he is. That first one he timed it to perfection, but the second one I think just catching him off guard, Gomakezwa. So before the 30th meeting between these two sides in the first division, the first ever being played back in June of 2012, a round 9 fixture. Not too far from here at the Athletic Stadium. A 1-0 win for Comets against Croydon that day. Could you call that a walk away, the Athletic Stadium? Yeah, a decent walk, but it's a walk nonetheless.
Probably not that far if you go direct through the parklands, I think. It's a couple of songs worth of stroll, I think.
An album or two.
Thankfully not quite that far, but
18-minute walk.
Oh, there you
That's
go.
nothing.
Further than I thought. But
That's definitely a walk. That is a walk, I can tell you that. More than enough for me. Oxenham out the back. Of course, didn't play any minutes for Melbourne City while he was signed as an injury replacement, but was a part of that title-winning side. And to be fair, he was behind current Soccer goalkeeper in Patrick Beach, so wasn't the easiest situation for him to break through in. Now that we can look back retrospectively on it all.
What a splash Patrick Beach has made. Heard that St Kilda Beach was named after him as well for a couple of days. Acids Beach very comically saying that, why would you want that beach named after you?
Daniel Margush now. Another very experienced A-League goalkeeper. 49 matches with the Western Sydney Wanderers, 7 with Adelaide United, in which he came through, was a part of that side that initially started in State League 1 and then got promoted to the NPL, which the Adelaide United youth side have stayed ever since. And again, similar to the Football SA women's side of the WNPL, you always have Adelaide United youth former players scattered around the REA NPLSA.
Well, I'll tell you what, we saw that in full display last week in their game at Regency Park against Croydon. A lot of new players coming in, with some of the other ones being released, some of them, I guess, on the break after taking part in the A-League season, although I think most will be back at the moment. But yeah, a few more names in there, and just amazing how those players have just slipped into the system.
Good. Up against Bulmer, Paul, he's good. Again, that shot wide again. They're just on that. You say how Adelaide United, you know, they are bringing in so many players. I think they've used the most players out of any side in the league so far. Croydon themselves have used the least out of any side. They've only used 19 players across this whole now 17 matches. There is a possibility of using a 20th, as here goes Yuya Kato from distance, if they do bring on possible debutant Jesse Martire from off the bench. But certainly that stark contrast to how squads work on display last week
Not a huge amount of changes from last year as well. Of course, we saw Andre Cole go across town. We saw Yuya Kato come in after a really good season with West Adelaide, helping them gain promotion. But he was a replacement for one of their other players as well. But it's one of those things. Like it's great to have a dynamic list of people who can come in and constantly have a production line, but to have consistency, you really need to have some consistency within the squad.
Kato leaving it for Slattery, and Oxenham diving but pulling the ball down with him.
Of course, Trimboli, one of the outlet players that came in as well. That's one I neglected to mention.
Of course, two Trimbolis. Now Oliver Trimboli on the bench tonight for Croydon.
A pair of Trimbolis, if you will. Trimboli?
That's just you pronouncing the last name wrong.
Well, in fairness, I mean, they both played alongside each other 2 weeks ago in that West Adelaide game when I think it was Yuya Kato was absent in that particular fixture, but usually we see, as I call it, the Trimboli for Trimboli replacement.
Certainly makes it easy for us commentators as we see a collision there. Almost sandwiched between two was Klimek.
Yeah, an awkward fall, but he shook it off exactly how you'd expect him to. Tough as nails. Mr. Bologna, as they call him.
Absolutely. Does result in a set piece for Adelaide Comets, though. Irabona from long distance. Puts the ball on at the back post. The header, diving low for it, will be a corner. Plenty of heft on that ball as it's delivered in. Chested down and then hit! Great finish for the equaliser for Adelaide Comets. 1-1.
And it looks to be Damien Luic.
Back level here at LJ Hookham Island Sports Park. Damien Luic scoring.
Found himself loose, and he just seemed like he had too much time to compose himself because he was quite patient with the setup, and in the end swung for it with great pace behind it and just buried into the back of the net to equalise things towards the half. They never like to do things the easy way, do they, Croydon?
But does certainly set us up for a very entertaining match. Two sides only really wanting 3 points out of every single match. Back by Styles to Bolmaport. Team of the Year defender and NPL All-Star Bolmaport on the ball now. And his class with that little touch. Styles. Chase down, players opposing number 14 in the lad near Irabona. A switch from Bolmaport, just unable to reach it.
I mentioned it before, but I've been so impressed with Ned Styles in recent weeks, and just seeing what he was doing there as well, having the two pivots with him alongside Martinello, just great to see them clicking.
Ross comes in, the headers! Finding that corner. The ball in was exquisite. And the header towards the side netting from Passia John puts Croydon right back in front, just as they were found back level.
And it was another assist from Oscar Slattery. It didn't come as a result of a darting run up the left-hand side, but just shows how comfortably he is in that little corner. That throw-in came eventually. He had the ball at his feet, just whipped it into the area, and Passia John was waiting for it. I think the first opportunity of the game was one that Slattery sent in, and it was one that would just, missed Passia John by a few inches in the end, but on that occasion, making it right, and the even score's short-lived.
Comets needing to fight back once again. And they might do so here. Don Mwekezwa taking his touch inside, forcing him to lose the ball. That goal as well for Croydon coming in a period where they're most likely to score the last 15 minutes of each half. Previous to this match, scoring 8 in both, 16 combined. Now it's 9 goals in the last 15 minutes of the first half, so they like to finish halves strong, these two. Muller puts it back from Martinello and all the way to Margush. Not too much forward endeavour at the moment from Croydon. Just as I say that, Bonwaport launching a ball, switching it out wide, and then going all the way back.
Just as they were sharing it between the two centre-backs there, was really interesting. I mentioned this before, the Adam Martinello and Ned Stiles really starting to click. Just interesting watching the way the two of them interact. They seem to interchange that sixth position as they're building him out from the back. It was Ned Stiles there for a while, sort of combining to make that triangle in the back, and then he came forward, and it was Martinello that came in, and maybe a little bit of a decoy, because eventually they picked out Oscar Slattery on the left-hand side.
Foul there. Last week, Croydon committed the second most fouls out of any team in the round, one behind Adelaide City's 15, of course. So no stranger to a bit of tough love.
That's a nice way to put it, tough love. I think having watched that game, it was one where maybe through the latter period of the first half, I know we're not going to use the word quarters here, the latter period of the second half, just Adelaide United were really all over it, just controlling possession so much and really dominating it on the edge of that attacking third for them. And Croydon really did have to just show something to try to disrupt that momentum a little bit.
Yeah, only kept 25% possession last week against Adelaide United throughout the whole 90.
Wow. Well, that sort of goes to show, because that stat did start to swing back a little bit the other way in the second half, but
So you're saying it could have been less if not for a second half?
Yeah, that's exactly what it may have been 90% during that 20-minute period favouring Adelaide United. So they were really all over them.
Don't have the exact stats about tonight yet, but certainly seeming fairly more even between these two sides. Of course, Croydon currently with the lead, but neither side devoid of too many chances. Again, Croydon with the 2 goals because maybe they just had that 1 or 2 extra chances in which they put behind. Long ball put in. And it goes right back up for Martinelli to try and win the header. Passia John trying to get his body in front of Marco Guerrera. But there's a player down in behind play. Final 2 minutes of the half.
Looked like there were 3 players down for Comets at one point. Marco Guerrera is up, but he seems to be in a little bit of discomfort. He's just grasping his left ankle at the moment. Imagine that's something that he's probably going to be okay to shake off. I think Luich is now back at his feet, but a little bit slow going and didn't catch the number of the other player. Was that Hayes?
Possibly. How's that?
He's looking a bit
defensive pairing.
Worse for wear at the moment as well, so bit of a destructive passage of play for Comets.
On the goals themselves as we wind down to half-time, Croydon's 2 become their 24th and 25th goal of the season, scored within the 18-yard box. Out of their 36 now scored across the season. Comets, their 12th in the 18-yard box. Although none of them penalties. Adelaide Comets were awarded a penalty back in round 11 against Para Hills, which was taken by, I think, Karkafiris. He missed but scored immediately on the follow-off, so technically doesn't count as a penalty scored, but Croydon yet to be even awarded one. Don McKeswa doing the hard work up front to try and get past the Croydon defence late on in this first stanza. Luich with a goal to his name, as he did back in there. Losing effort of round 14 last year. He scored first at Regency Park, but then it was Luke Klimek, Luca Trimboli, and Alex Good for scoring. But here's another chance. That one flying wide by Karkafiris. But good signs as we wind down the half into additional time.
Yeah, you said it before, there's been opportunities at both ends, and as you were saying that, Croydon were just enjoying a little bit of a moment in possession. I was sort of thinking in the back of my head that, you know, maybe it is favouring them a little bit more, but, you know, you just see the opportunities that Comets can build from there, and you've got some stats there that sort of tell that story of the evenness.
Yeah, 6 shots, 5 on target for Croydon. Adelaide Comets, 5 shots, with only 2 of theirs being on target. Croydon, of course, definitely the happy of the 2 going into half-time, but I wouldn't say Comets have been too far off it either of having a good showing tonight. There's still plenty more in this one.
Yeah, I think so, but just generally speaking, I do get the feeling that Croydon would be just a little bit more comfortable with how proceedings are looking. Comets are getting their opportunities, but they just seem to be a little bit more scrappy and maybe more coming out of chaos, I think it's fair to say. But the points of time where Croydon really break at pace, they just look so, so dangerous. And you also got to think some of the firepower off either bench. I think if you start comparing those players that may come on late in this fixture, you probably have to give the edge to Croydon as well.
Slattery. Back to Freddie Muller as half-time is called. 2 assists for Oscar Slattery. Passia John and Luca Trimboli, the 2 goal scorers. Damian Luich for Adelaide Comets as we head in to the half-time break, with Croydon leading 2-1 away here at LJ Hookham Island Sports Park. And already looking forward to the second 45, Simon.
Yeah, I think so, and especially with Comets forced to respond as well, I think it's just going to really help open this up. Either we'll tie things up and Croydon have to really show some urgency, or they'll potentially leave some gaps for them to exploit.
As we look at the halftime stats as well, we saw them just a moment ago. 6 shots, 5 on target for Croydon, 5 and 2 for Adelaide Comets. And the fouls combined at a 7, but nothing too nasty so far in the first 45. Of course, don't forget next weekend, Saturday the 11th of July, set to be a massive day at Service FM Stadium with the 2026 Cup Finals taking place from 9:30 right through to 4 p.m. The community women under 18, men reserves, men and women, of course, the women's and men's senior cup finals and the WNPL, WSL Cup and the Federation Cup also
For over 25 years, HPG Homes have been helping South Australians build and own their dream home. Whether it's a house and land package, custom build or development, our HPG fixed price guarantee ensures no nasty surprises or price changes along the way. We're committed to quality, affordability and creating a way of life for you and your family. Fixed price turnkey. It's gotta be HPG. HPG Homes.
Introducing Carl's Jr. Star Boxes for taste and value that's out of this world. Choose a tasty ranch, original, Santa Fe or barbecue double cheeseburger and grab a small fries, all for only $6.95. Carl's Jr. Eat like you mean it.
I just want to make an impact.
Hop in.
Where are we going?
There are so many career paths with SAPOL, from operations to CSI. You could walk the beat or work somewhere a little quieter. If you want to make a difference, there's a career at SAPOL for you.
Hey, it's going to be all right.
Call up the search.
Find where you belong in blue. Search SAPOL Careers.
At Service FM, we know every workplace is different. Every challenge is unique. That's why we personalise our services to our customers' different needs across different industries. From medical to mining and manufacturing, hospitality to healthcare, commercial to defence. So when you need to create a better work environment, you need Service FM. Proud partner with Football South Australia.
And that's in! Dear Manton sees Harpers off his line. And he makes him pay.
I think the people involved, you get to meet a lot of people in football, and that's just one of the great things. Not only is the sport great, but the people involved. So fellow referees, players, coaches, even fans. I love officiating because it keeps me involved in football. I was a player, but I don't reckon I could cut it out there anymore, at least at any decent level. But as a referee, I get to be involved in higher levels of football. Keeps me involved, keeps me fit, and is great fun. I think I have a moment of this is why I do this every week. It's always good fun to get out there, and there are tough moments, but being resilient and succeeding, even just in the little things throughout a match. I think embracing challenges is such an important skill to learn, and as a referee you'll surely come across a lot of them, and I certainly have. I reckon give it a go. You will face challenges, but that's a part of it, and I think embracing challenges is such an important skill to learn.
Introducing Carl's Jr. Star Boxes for taste and value that's out of this world. Choose a tasty ranch, original, Santa Fe or barbecue double cheeseburger and grab a small fries, all for only $6.95. Carl's Jr. Eat like you mean it.
Adelaide wakes up with 5AA, David Penberthy and Will Goodings. Tom Wren for sport. Jade Robran on the scene as it happens. Jess Adamson with the news that matters to Adelaide. Breakfast with David and Will, bringing together the names you trust with everything you need to know to start your day. Always live, always local, and only on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
For over 25 years, HPG Homes have been helping South Australians build and own their dream home. Whether it's a house and land package, custom build or development, our HPG fixed price guarantee ensures no nasty surprises or price changes along the way. We're committed to quality, affordability and creating a way of life for you and your family. Fixed price turnkey. It's gotta be HPG. HPG Homes.
So the Youth Club Championship, we've designed a structure where the under 13s, under 14s, under 15s and 16s all compete together as one club. They'll play at the same venue, they'll play one after each other. It allows the technical director to be at the venue to help educate and look after the coaches, and also there's a focus on player development.
Players are now knowing where they are at and the pathway to follow each year. If they continue with the YCC, they should be in a position where they can go into senior football. It's a lot clearer around the steps they need to take to keep tracking as a player.
We've created an additional YCC training session or seminar night. All the players involved had the opportunity to do an extra additional skills session development plan, and we had Adrian Stanter coming in to talk about how to become a more professional player from a younger age.
The fact that as a club we are investing heavily in the juniors to ensure that we're putting those tools in place that the YCC is wanting from us, that's certainly bringing around some benefits to the club and to junior development across the board.
Everyone's trying to obtain points for their club, but also with a strong focus on how do we create a competition where players can play against like players.
The one thing I have noticed is it's been a bit more focused on getting the balance right. So, you know, trying to keep the best teams playing against each other throughout the entire year and not having this big disparity between one team or another, one club or another.
So what it has allowed us to do is have quality games every week, which has benefited the competition and given the girls a chance to sort of understand what it's like to play at that elite level. While development is a good focus, the YCC does bring out the aspect of results as well, which helps find that balance for players to transition to senior football.
So I think with the YCC structure now in place, there's become a better level. And with a better level, there's been higher intensity within our sessions, and that's allowed for greater development in terms of a player, technically, tactically, and that's given them the best chance to keep improving their game.
Yeah, look, I think there's certainly brought around a lot of excitement to the club on YCC Day. The club's buzzing. A lot of the parents and players really enjoy seeing the kids play, and what is really now an elite pathway in junior football in our state.
Something that resonated with me right on the onset was about connecting a budding footballer with the right coach with the right club, and the right club being part of the right football environment. So the YCC tells me that this has been a fantastic implementation by Football South Australia.
Still in the box, and it's another goal!
Check GT. Because we had 3 match balls out here, now there's only 1. Apparently that one's yours. We just have a look, guys. Unless the refs took one. Is that one of them over there? They got one? Yeah, they've got one. Oh, refs got 2, lads. No worries, thanks a lot. That's all right, I'll take half your bag, Tony. Hey, Sacco, you know how many of these we've lost through the year? Oh, fucking hell. Jesus. Well, let's get the points at least. Huh? Make a deal. Points on the balls. That probably doesn't sound good on the camera though, does it? It doesn't sound good on the camera. Can you erase that?
It's all jokes.
Definitely. Definitely.
No changes?
Get up, get up. Holly, get up. Let's go.
Welcome back for the second half here at LJ Hooker Myland Sports Park. It's Croydon 2, Adelaide Comets 1 as we head into the second 45. Plenty more of what we had in the first, Simon Jimenez, is what I think we're asking for.
Yeah, I've been pretty happy with that. Nice even contest, plenty of open play. It's been quite good. And like I said before half-time, I think we're in an interesting situation here because Comets are going to have to go after it because, as we keep saying, it's 3 points or bust for them, really. And Croydon trying to improve their later position as well. So, I think with Comets trying to chase and potentially, keep this as a nice open affair. And meanwhile, Croydon will be wanting to shore things up as well.
I think there have only been changes at the halftime break either, so things staying the same. Other than, of course, Comets now going from right to left and Croydon from left to right.
We saw plenty of action on this side for the first half, and of course this is the side from which Oscar Slattery got his 2 assists from to put Croydon in front.
Here's Passia John whipping a ball in. It's a good save from Oxenham, but the follow-up's in. Just over a minute and a half into the second half. Croydon find a goal to double their lead through Oscar Slattery.
Just as we were singing his praises for his 2 assists so far, he adds an extra one to his count. And Croydon make their mark quickly. Interestingly, it was coming straight out of halftime that they scored their second last week against Adelaide United as well. So I'm not sure exactly what minute, but coming back from the break in much the same fashion.
Comets now in an even tougher predicament and already looking to the bench for changes. Just less than 3 minutes in. Could Croydon add more? It's a low ball in.
We've seen a couple of really nice crosses in from Oscar Slattery. I think that's probably the poorest we've seen from him so far tonight, but now it's Comets on the charge.
Guerrera out on this left wing. Has options in the box to cross to. Decides to take on options, and that ball really coming to nothing in the end. Perhaps not the right idea on that occasion.
Yeah, he'd probably want to do over on that. I think just tried to do a little bit too much with it in the end, and in the end, rather than more options coming in, he found himself in a bit of a dead-end street.
That one poked back forward for Aladdin Irabona, the chase on down. Irabona just falling for the moment. Goma Keswa doing the same as he was trying to get the touch under his own control. Now, back under control for the moment.
A little bit of a call from the Croydon bench there. George Tasonis just making sure his team don't lose their way. And
Trimboli opting for the effort there. The high ball in. Good on the edge of the box to try and get rid of, but has oncoming pressure. He's able to deal with it. Marco Guerrera poking it in towards nobody. Nello, Styles, now Klimek, back to Mapor. Crosses back line to Freddie Muller. Now Polly. Muller again with the ball at his feet. It's the only match being played tonight in the men's REA NPL South Australia. The rest of the other matches being played tomorrow afternoon and evening. Those fixtures tomorrow. Adelaide City versus Para Hills at 2:30. Sturt versus Playford at 3. Adelaide United versus Campbelltown also at 3 p.m. FK Beograd, West Adelaide at 5. And then Metro Stars versus West Hornsby-Calla in a huge top-of-the-table clash at 7:15 p.m. Possibly title deciding that one between those two.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge one tomorrow night. Of course, it's game of the round as well. There's going to be David Grant and Theo Marlonis on commentary for that one. It does it's a standalone fixture too, and does correspond with First Nations round 2.
Konomopoulos playing that ball over the top for Irabona. That's a good sliding challenge to force the throw-in. Ball bouncing unkindly for Adelaide Comets, and Croydon play their way out of the back. Styles. It's a late one in there on Ned Styles from said good. Played quickly back through Passia John. He also taken down that time by Karkafiris, but just a throw. Maybe, again, that sense of frustration for Adelaide Comets just creeping through. Now they're 2 goals behind rather than the one they were at half-time. It's a nice ball. Can poke it through for Gonwick Hezwa, but he's offside. Not the first time Comets have been caught offside tonight, going forward.
We were wondering a few minutes ago if Comets were going to make a really early change, but it looks like, well, we can say that hasn't happened just yet. And
it's a good switch ball towards Aladdin Irabona. Puts in the cross, looking for the head of Gonwick Hezwa. Guerrera also there as the option further behind, but Gonwick Hezwa rising highest to get there first. Now have Croydon to deal with through passage on. He cuts and turns back.
He's a tall target, Gonwick Hezwa, and that may have been one of their best chances yet. Best missed chances, I should say.
Yeah, you do think Comets can't let it go to 4-1. I think it is the big key at the moment. They have to be able to continue to go forward as they are at the moment, but not conceding again, I think, is the big key.
Yeah, that's the tricky thing, is they do try to go after it. And given the makeup of the table at the moment as well, I mean, it could very well come down to goal difference at the end of the season when it does come to those relegation spots. I mean, we're very close to it coming down to goal difference at the end of last year.
Yeah.
That, if not for that late equaliser from Para Hills against Metro Stars, famously.
I see you, John. Of course, on a part of end-of-season heroics himself, as that one nearly dipped into that far post. Of course, set up that scintillating assist in the grand final for Andre Cole to win them that title. Another slip on the ball there. They still go. Irabona. Not reaching Luca Trimboli. Irabona. Will be a free kick, I believe. has been doing some good individual work on that far side so far this half. Aladdin Irabona just been able to sometimes get that final ball, but working hard.
Yeah, he's one of those players that you can always rely on, regardless of whether Comets are able to get that final result. You can certainly never fault Irabona's work rate on that right-hand side.
Croydon currently sit 5th. They've jumped Playford, who sit in 6th place. Playford now with a 5-point gap behind behind Adelaide United, in front of Adelaide United, sorry. Comets 5 points adrift of Campbelltown in 10th, needing some points out of their remaining games to stay up. Ball comes in and is headed away. Vatnos. That one's cleared behind the fence.
You mentioned 5 points off the pace for Comets behind Campbelltown, but Campbelltown have a fixture against Adelaide United Youth as well, and they're currently tied for points. So
that's a big one tomorrow.
That's got some big implications. And
Irabona gone with Keswa on the edge of the box, looking for the cut back, but just couldn't find any meaningful angle to strike towards goal. Luich, goal scorer with the ball over the top. Paul heading it away only as far as Kaka. Furious opting to hit it. If it was going to find anywhere, he was going to find that bottom corner. Instead, it went wide.
Again, Croydon's bench just trying to will on his troops, and we have seen just the lift in intensity and opportunities created for Comets in the last around about 5 minutes or so. There was a bit of a call from George Sonos, probably about 5 or 10 minutes ago, just pleading with his team to keep focus, and it looks like they may have lost it slightly here, so he's just trying to make sure they're switched on and going in pursuit of more, presumably.
Styles he's through ball to no one. They counter, and a through here, through Trimboli. Right towards Dakota Oxenham. Irabona. Sliding challenge. And there from Ned Styles. Martinello, my apologies. Again, one for Gomakezwa to chase down against James Polly. Will be Gomakezwa's throw. Ticking towards the hour mark, nearly towards 10 p.m. here in Adelaide. Croydon currently sitting with a 3-1 lead in the first match of round 17 of the men's REA NPL South Australia. A pause, header is upwards. Only as far as Guerrera. Hit on the edge of the box! Margush diving down to capture that one.
Decent strike from over Lombardos. He saw that it landed well for him and he decided to swing for it, but Margush had it well covered in the end.
Well, that's a well-weighted ball. Gomakezwa onside this time. Forced wide due to the pressure. Gomakezwa. He'll strike wide.
Really nice ball forward for Gombrichez, but I think he was ultimately let down by his own first touch there. Just allowed enough time for some of the troops to track back for Croydon.
8 shots apiece for these two sides. 7 on target for Croydon, 3 for Adelaide Comets. So they're both creating chances. Obviously, Croydon at the moment just more meaningful ones.
Well, I think Comets probably added significantly to that tally in the last 5 or 10 minutes, which is just something that Croydon has to be extremely wary of. They've done all the hard work to find themselves too clear, and they just seem to be losing their way a little bit now. But again, we keep saying it, just with Croydon, with Comets having to really pursue this match. If they do just leave too much space for Croydon to counter, it could pretty much be game over for them tonight.
Dakota Oxenham has made a few saves tonight. Nice fair battle between those two. Back with Oxenham. Almost heading towards us. I was ready to punch it away. I've done it before. Hit someone too, unfortunately, with it.
Would have been more impressed if you one-touch controlled it with your feet.
It was at Adelaide United, so it was a bit difficult in that in that glass box to get the touchdown right. Had to just clear first time. While commentating too, had to clear it into the stands. I was quite shocked by my own ability to punch it away. Have that, Mark Talbot. Don't even need gloves. Laporte was coming to clear. That one missed by Klimek. Not the cleanest connections from the Croydon captain. Karkafiris.
So we might have a double substitution coming for Comets, Seb. I think Dylan Peach was one of the players that was asked to come back, and another one as well.
Comets in the ascendancy at the moment. As this ball's lifted in. Away by Klimek. Karkafiris trying the spectacular by getting it all wrong. As that change will be made, will be Philip Spadavecchia to come on. 3 goals and 3 assists to his name so far this season. Big performance coming against West Adelaide a few weeks back. And the other being Dylan Paish. Comes on for his 6th appearance. Another who scored in that game against West Adelaide, his debut goal. Off comes Marco Guerrera. It's a triple change, actually. Harry Thomas as well coming on. Karkafiris off as well, as is Seb Good. So a triple change for Adelaide Comets.
Did well, Seb, and a rogue number change for one of those players too. So very well dealt with, very cool, calm under pressure. Now that you've done your hard work, it's up to Comets because they're still trailing by that too and working really hard to reduce it.
To be fair, some pretty good subs to bring on. As I said, Phil Spadavecchia has had a good few weeks. Harry Thomas as well. He scored against Adelaide United and West Torrens Berkala in their past 5 games. And as I said, Dylan Paish as well, scoring his debut goal against West Adelaide a few weeks back. Croydon looking to respond with a change of their own. It's Nathan Owen stretching and preparing to come on.
Harry Thomas coming on and immediately showing some good work rate, trying to make some darting runs down this near side.
A few more updates from around the grounds with the only men's NPL match being played. Eastern United and Modbury Jets in the State League 1 playing out a 0-0 draw, so that's big for Eastern United. Modbury still trying to climb and be up top of that State League 1 table. Adelaide Olympic getting a narrow 1-0 win over Salisbury United in the 88th minute, unfortunately for Salisbury, but good for Adelaide Olympic. Them also trying and get a top spot, if not in the finals. As we'll pause those for the moment as Aladnir Abona comes forward now on the left side, goes down and wins the free kick. State League 2 South, Adelaide Uni 4-1 up over Adelaide Hills Hawks with about 15 minutes left to go. And in the Apex Steel WNPL South Australia, current score sitting at Flinders United 0, Campbelltown City 8 with 13 minutes left to play there.
We know after last week's shock result for Campbelltown in West Adelaide, they don't mind scoring late either, so Flinders United at this stage just trying to stop the bleeding.
Free kick for Adelaide Comets here. Anthony Mavrolambardos will be the one to take. Not Aladnir Abona, interestingly enough. Well, and set up for the left boot of Mavrolambardos.
It looks like Aladnir Abona's getting ready to make a darting run in, and we know with his athleticism, he can get some height.
Mavrolambardos' ball is in low. Edge of the area. Hit but deflected by Nicholas Economopoulos. Kept in by Paish. Here Abona with the touch in the box, looking for the cut back. It's just slowly rolling across the goal with no touch towards it. Agonisingly for Adelaide Comets. And now they find themselves having to deal with a counter-attack. Down this left side with Flattery. Taken off of him very well.
A little bit of a slip there from Vatnos along the way, which sort of favoured Croydon in the build-up.
We really should add that to the stats markers for tonight. How many slips per 90. Ball comes in from Harry Thomas, cleared away strongly by Bulmer Port. They were going to make the change, but it's a corner kick, so they'll wait. Still warming up and waiting to come on. It's not a bad corner. Headed away, but kept in very well by Aladnir Abona. Cross into the back post all the way out. Now they will finally make that change.
Adam.
Nathan on to come on for Adam Martinello.
Adam Martinello giving some directions to the sideline by Tom Brinkworth.
Of course, again, there is that new rule. I'm not sure if it'll be in force probably next season maybe, but that is if a substituted player doesn't come off within, I think it's 10 seconds of being told to come off, the player that's about to be substituted on has to wait at least a minute or so before coming on. Irabona on the tightest of angles. Comes off Klimek, puts in a high ball. First time hit goes high and almost into the balcony on the top level.
Just on the topic of the rule changes for the World Cup, there's quite a few that I've actually quite enjoyed. Hydration breaks aside, of course. I'm not going to shake that.
You're not a fan?
Well, to be perfectly honest, overall we're just seeing plenty of action. You know, everything's been very free-flowing, very quick. We haven't seen those extended, breaks of plays going down late in the second half as well. So I think overall we can consider just the pace at which everything's played at the moment to be really entertaining. The hydration break specifically. Yeah, I'm yet to find anyone who's a real fan of that, to be honest.
Irabona cuts back on his left, a real fan of scoring goals. That's another really good save by Daniel Margush.
Nathan! Come on!
More opportunities just adding up for Comets. It does seem inevitable at the moment that they're going to add to the tally if Croydon don't do something.
Offside flag goes up.
Just to touch again on the rule changes from the World Cup. Was it a game last week? It was one of those ones that just dragged for like the last 15, 20 minutes. You can tell one team was definitely in game management mode. And you can't begrudge them for that, for doing that within the rules of the game. I'd never call anyone out for that, but for the neutral observer, I think all we want is a continuous free-flowing game. And
Spadavecchia looking for the cutback, but it'll be a corner.
We are getting a continuous free-flowing game here, but I think overall the rules, I think we have got that so far in the World Cup. Double change coming for Croydon by the looks of things as well.
Lucas, stay.
Corner comes in, bouncing about over the bar, goes out of play for a goal kick. Oliver Trimboli is one of those substitutes to come on. Oliver Trimboli and Alexander Goods coming on for Croydon.
Sounds like Oscar Slattery is one of the players that are coming off, so I can only imagine the other one will be Luca Trimboli, and it is to fulfill our usual Trimboli for Trimboli swap segment of the afternoon, of the evening. Oscar Slattery doesn't want to go off, evidently.
Is that 2 assists and a goal for him tonight?
Yes. Not enough, evidently. He's coming around now. I think maybe just a little bit of confusion around him wanting to go to the bench rather than beeline for the nearest sideline.
Harry Thomas's header down for a first touch from Trimboli, nearly put all the way through. attack breaking down Laporte. Very composed playing out from the back and really challenging him for the ball here. Getting any little touch.
That's a joke. That's got to be a joke.
A bit of an exercise in patience there between Laporte and Gomwikezwa, but eventually the foul given the way of Croydon.
No bookings as of yet in this game either.
Saw Laporte get a brief piggyback during that little tussle there. I'm not sure if that was the foulable offence for getting a player on your back.
They come here. Gomwikezwa really having to battle off Freddie Muller. And now in that corner. Ball comes in. Harry Thomas, his touch first is loose. That will fall out for a Comets throw. Cameron Hayes leads the league in average sliding tackles per 90. Does Cameron Hayes. And interesting enough, equal second also playing in this match in Luke Klimek and also Athen Karkafiris. Helps with the slippy surface, clearly.
I mean, I know the place that you get your stats from, so I'm not going to ask that question. I do perhaps wonder if you're reading it in far greater detail than I do. I know you're not there with a notebook.
This second half, Comets having a good showing in Spadavecchia. Showing that. More opportunities.
Yeah, it did seem like for a little bit there, Croydon has sort of stifled the momentum that Comets were building, but they're just going back to the ways that they've been showing ever since Croydon found their third goal, I guess. I think it's fair to say that the momentum swung the way back of Adelaide Comets. Just not able to convert, though, and even though they seem to be getting close on occasions, I don't think... Oh, there's something still missing.
That one's a giveaway, but Oxenham quick enough to the task to capture Irabona. They really want to start finding something here as the time starts to wind down of this match, but that's a very nice touch on Yukato helping himself. Styles putting it through now for the cutback. Somehow is skied. And maybe just a bit lucky there, Adelaide Comets, not to be 4-1 down.
That would have been a nail in the coffin at this point of the match. Passy John had converted. I've seen him score miraculously in one instance from the halfway line at Service FM Stadium against Adelaide United Youth a little bit earlier this year, and a little bit more of a straightforward situation in this instance, but nonetheless wayward on this occasion.
Just over 10 minutes left. Comets really needing something now to set us up for a grandstand finish. It's a nice ball. Trimboli going for the shot. And Oxenham palming it away. Still going is Spadavecchia. Will be Comets' throw. And a few claims from the Croydon bench of a handball as well, but nothing was given.
Come on. Let's go, stay there. Can you be there? Let's go. Alex. Let's go, please. Over you, hey. Hey. That's two hands.
Irabona. That one goes up in hope, I think, more than anything. Gomwikezwa, real battle with Laporte. Maybe should have left that for Margush, as Comets still keep the ball. That's a decent strike off the post and out. Irabona continuing on the attack. It's a high ball in. Vatnos. It's a long cross in. Gomakezwa trying to get any little nick off his head there towards the goal.
Yeah, I think possibly a little bit of a miscommunication there between Ollie and Margush, because, well, from our angle, it did look like Margush would have been able to claim that comfortably, but just a bit of a nervous moment.
Holding now was Harry Thomas on Trimboli, but for Croydon they've been able to play on. Referees called it back. To be honest, that's some good refereeing from Tom Brinkworth there, letting the attack play out. And then when the advantage didn't, calling it back for the free kick.
Comets now just pleading their case. So they did disagree with the call, but I agree with you on that one. I think pretty clear what Tom Brinkworth was trying to achieve there, just to allow Croydon not to be immediately disadvantaged by the whistle going.
How do they deal with this set piece, Comets? In by Styles. Nearly fell right back out to him. Irabona puts it through for Spadavecchia. He'll get the throw.
I did see Aladdin Irabona again ready to press the accelerator against Bolmapur, and I think he would have had both him and Lucas Klimek beaten a foot race, but ultimately Croydon got the positioning right there and managed to stop that immediate threat.
Long throw into the box away by Bolmapur. Thomas puts in the low ball, but again Bolmapur creeping towards goal with Spadavecchia. Muscled off the ball. Passia John. It's well done to slow down play in his side's favour. Klimek going long with the ball, but able to find his winger in Passia John. Thomas comes off Cato last, and the Comets throw again. Comets throw in the end after conjecture. Another one here with Thomas. Hopeful wall from Irabona. Time ever so slowly becoming the enemy of Adelaide Comets in this one.
As Danny Margush retrieves this ball, I was just thinking before, when we start talking about standout players at the conclusion of this season, I think when it comes to keepers, I'm just reflecting on some of the times he's really saved Croydon's skin this year. Surely he's probably a shoe-in for Keeper of the Year, I think.
That's a nice ball over the top for an onside Passia John. Here's Passia John! Makes it 4 with 6 minutes left, does Passia John. Nets his 4th of the season. And just about finishes off the match for Croydon FC, 4-1.
Well, the traffic was all going from right to left throughout the majority of this half, but Croydon converting when it matters. Of course, they got the first goal to open the half. All the threat coming from Comets during, most of the last 40 minutes or so, but finally Croydon score their 4th. Bolmapur gets the job done, and it looks like it may just be done for the evening tonight as well. Notice Ned Styles getting in on the celebrations as well. He did a little bit of a knee slide. Spoke about it being a bit of a slippery deck, and we've mentioned about 1 million times tonight, so he's probably been planning to do that all night.
This ball comes in. Nearly hit first time on the volley. Laporte out for a corner.
It's going to be Lad Nirabona that delivers it again. His trusty right-footed in swing out.
It's far. Header goes up and out for a goal kick. Again, looking back on those stats, last 15 minutes of both halves is their most prevalent period, and they've scored in the last 15 minutes of both halves again, Croydon FC tonight. Proving that stat correct.
Well, they may still yet try to further add to that stat, so the game's not over yet. And how do Adelaide Comets respond now? What sort of effort do they put forth in the last bit of this game? Done its dash, or do they try just reduce the deficit a little bit? Again, as we said before, this may very well come down to goal difference at the end of the season.
We said just after that goal, Simon, as well, perhaps it coming against run of play. We said about how last week against Adelaide United, Croydon only had a quarter of the possession. With this second half, I'd love to see what that stat is tonight between these two, because I think this second half, Comets very much been in control of the football, but again, they've just come out the better. Croydon.
I've got to say, not as stark as last week. Maybe we'll revisit that. The flag goes up, so I can probably continue that thought. Not as stark as last week, but I did. You know, Adelaide United went into the halftime break trailing 1-0, and just with how they were dominating, the conversation we had going into halftime was, if you're Adelaide United, you would change absolutely nothing. You just keep doing what you're doing and just wait to get the equaliser, because it was inevitably gonna come. But with Croydon, for them to come out in the second half and score so quickly, as Margush claims this, that would have been just a huge demoralising blow on the side of Adelaide United, who all of a sudden it wasn't going to be enough just to persist with what they were doing. They were really going to have to change their approach, and in doing so, sort of opened up the game a little bit, and Croydon were eventually able to score again. There's one for the slip counter.
Had my mind. One pass your John. Free kick.
That counts as two slips in one just there.
Just a look at the table as we head into the final moments of this match. Croydon currently sitting 5th, equal on points with FK Beograd, who of course tomorrow do face West Adelaide. 1 point in front of Playford in 6th, and 6 points in front of Adelaide United in 7th. So a small gap starting to be created between the final spots and the, I guess, non-final spots is what you call them. Adelaide Comets 5 points away from Campbelltown City in 10th, with Campbelltown themselves having to play Adelaide United tomorrow. Two teams with two different big reasons to win that one at Service FM Stadium tomorrow at 3 p.m.
For Adelaide Comets as well, just looking at the next few weeks. They've got Campbelltown coming up and
Huge.
Sturt Lions. Both of those teams are in that sort of mix of was just outside the relegation zone.
We've got FK Beograd sandwiched between those two, who will be fresh off both a cup final and an Australia Cup round of 32 match by then. Again, of course, all teams bar FK Beograd and Cumberland United having a week off next week due to Cup Final Day next Saturday, the 11th of July. Which is all day from 9:30 a.m. all the way up until the Women's Cup Final and the Men's Cup Final in the afternoon. Here's Spadavecchia looking to try and halve the deficit. Spadavecchia just couldn't bury it in that bottom corner enough.
Like that, did I see a bit of a deflection off the arm of Bolmapur as well? I mean, it does adjust for intentionality. Regardless, even getting one back, I think we'll be a little bit too late, too little too late.
Spadavecchia again, this time on the edge of the box. Ball comes in. Bounces between two heads and cleared up and high. Right amongst that city skyline. On the turn. Out wide. A lot of shots from Comets. I imagine we'll see the stats if we haven't already at the moment on screen, but nothing really to show for it. Other than the equaliser early on in the match, of course.
Yeah, they had plenty of opportunities throughout the second half, and Margush has certainly been made to work for it.
Yeah, those stats a moment ago, 18 shots for Comets, 11 for Croydon, 5 on target, 8 for Croydon. So more shots in general for Comets, but more on target for Croydon. And their clinicality coming to show as this one falls to the edge, and I mean, that's the story of their night. Unable to convert seemingly simple chances when you look at the level of football we're playing at.
Yeah, on the flip side as well, Croydon missed a couple as well. There was that one from Passy John that ended up going over the crossbar. That, you know, that could have very well made it 5-1. So, yeah, I think the position that Comets are in at the moment, just, you know, fighting so hard, so desperately, and imagine from the team point of view, just really feeling the pressure of the way things are at the moment. But in general, as a club, it's a little bit of a difficult situation they find themselves in a little bit as well. I don't think 2 years ago we would have been thinking that, you know, they'd been relegation contention.
They started well under new coach Isaac Sese taking over from Tom Overall midway through the season, but with this result as it is, it'll only be the one win in their last 6 matches. But Croydon continue on their good form. 1 loss in their last 5, and that was against top of the table Burkalla. They continue on tonight, 4-1 winners over Adelaide Comets in a fairly convincing performance, even under pressure from the Comets forward line.
Yeah, for sure, and I think especially that'd go some way to cementing their position in the top 6, especially with Adelaide United Youth and Campbelltown just outside of that top 6 spot tomorrow as well. So yeah, that's really big for them, and they continue their run of form. The charge that they're on at the moment. So I think that'll be the biggest takeaway for Campbelltown, just the fact that their form is looking really good. Some of those key players really playing well. I'm talking about Slattery, I'm talking about Ned Stiles as well. Luca Trimboli still scoring goals at will.
We see those full-time stats. 4-1 to Croydon, 21 shots from Comets, 6 on target, 15 off target. And the 11 combined fouls between the two, but no bookings. Was a reasonably tame match as well.
Yeah, that's fair to say. I'm a little bit stunned about that high shot count for Adelaide Comets. I guess it is reflective of what we saw throughout the second half. They were launching plenty, but, you know, I think the real genuine shots on target seem to be a little bit lacking overall.
So, as we look at the rest of the rounds, Adelaide City tomorrow afternoon, 2:30 p.m. against Para Hills Knights, Sturt Lions versus Playford, and Adelaide United versus Campbelltown City, both at 3 p.m. FKB Grad, 5 p.m. at home to West Adelaide, and rounding out the round at 7:15, the match of the round, West Torrens Burkalla versus Metro Stars. A huge, huge one for those two sides. But from here at LJ Hookham Island Sports Park, Simon Jimenez, lovely to have you alongside me for this long night of football, which will continue into tomorrow morning with the Socceroos versus Egypt.
Yes, very big next 24 hours or so for us, and yeah, it's really exciting. God, they want to kick us out already here. The lights are going off.
Yep, already trying to put us to sleep to get as much as possible before that big one. But from us here, I've been Sabinil. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on FSA League's full-time score here at LJ Hookham Island Sports Park. It's Adelaide Comets 1, Croydon FC 4.